Stories. Marcus Carlson's here. First up, Marcus, we're looking at gas supplies during the ongoing crisis in Ukraine.
We are indeed. Hi there, Tom. Hi there, everyone. Vladimir Putin has said that Russia has no plans to halt gas deliveries to Ukraine. But the Russian president also reiterated that state-owned Gazprom could ask Ukraine to pay for its Russian gas supplies up front. Putin may be trying to ease concerns that European supplies could be hit if Russia turns off the taps to Ukraine. On its end, the European Commission has called on Russia to honour its commitments. Delano D'Souza has more details.
Russia's gas exports to Ukraine are once again back in the spotlight. Moscow is calling on Kiev to pay $2.2 billion, sparking fears that Russia could turn off the taps. It last happened in the dead of winter in 2009 when supplies to Ukraine were disrupted for 2 weeks. That action also hit EU countries that depend on Russian gas through Ukrainian pipelines, including Bulgaria and Slovakia. This time around, Europe says current gas supplies are at a comfortable level.
There are around 37 billion cubic meters of gas in the EU's underground storages, and this is nearly half of the capacity we have.
Gas from Russia currently provides half of Ukraine's gas needs and around 30% of Europe's supplies. Ukraine estimates its gas reserves will last between 3 to 4 months. The Ukrainian government says it's in talks with German and French gas companies to shore up supplies. After Gazprom hiked prices for Ukraine by 80% at the start of April, that could be a cheaper option.
If Ukraine buys gas from Europe, it will be $100, $150 cheaper compared to the price Gazprom is offering. If Gazprom will continue this policy of offering political rather than economic prices, it will lose the Ukrainian gas market, which represents the second largest market after Germany.
Experts say Russia is unlikely to do anything to jeopardize its gas exports to Europe that account for 70%. Just in case it does, the EU stands ready.
Moving on now, Angela Merkel has praised Greece for carrying out painful economic reforms. The German Chancellor was speaking in Athens during a one-day visit to Greece, meeting with young entrepreneurs. She said there was untapped potential in the country. Merkel travelled to Athens to show support for the Greek government. She arrived one day after the government successfully returned to international bond markets. Many Greeks blame Merkel for pushing tough austerity reforms on Greece. Ahead of her arrival, protests had been banned in some parts of Athens.
After all the necessary reforms and all the structural reforms that will be necessary in the future, Greece is acquiring more opportunities than difficulties, despite the fact that there is high unemployment and people cannot perhaps see the growth that is underway yet.
We're going to take a look at the stock markets next. European shares closed lower on Friday, with the DAX shedding the most out of the main indices, down 1.5%. European stocks, they were playing catch-up after a sharp sell-off of technology shares in the United States on Thursday. Let's also talk you through where the United States markets are this session. As you can see here, we're seeing basically a broad-based sell-off with the Dow Jones Industrial Average down 0.75%. Banking shares in particular are hard hit at the end of the trading week. And let's take a closer look at why that is now. Shares in America's biggest bank are under pressure on Wall Street, leading the entire sector downwards. It comes after JP Chase reported a 19% drop in first quarter earnings. The bank posted a profit just shy of $5.3 billion for the January to March period, and that was below expectations. The bottom line was hit by lower revenues from bond, currency and commodities trading. Now, the story is quite different at JP Morgan's rival, Wells Fargo. Its first quarter earnings surged 14% to $5.6 billion in the first quarter. The bottom line was boosted as the lender said it's losing less money from mortgages turning sour. Shares in Wells Fargo, which is America's biggest mortgage lender, have been trading higher on Wall Street. And Samsung has started selling its latest flagship smartphone to consumers. The Korean company is hoping that the Galaxy S5 will help to put its profits back on track. But some analysts say that the phone may be lacking the wow factor needed to get customers to stores. Earlier this week, Samsung warned that its earnings are set to fall as consumers spend less on their smartphones. I'll be back again in an hour's time with more business headlines. For now, though, it's back to you, Tom.
Thank you very much indeed for that roundup, Marcus. Well, it's time now for a check of the top sports stories.